भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भागवते उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. Hare Krishna, everyone. Now, today we will look at the verse from Canto 4, chapter 12, verse 42. यः पंचवर्षो गुरुदरा वक्षरीर भिन्ना यातो हृदयेन दूयता वनं मद आदेशो करो जितं प्रभुं जिगाय तद्भक्त गुणे पराजितम्. यः पंचवर्षो गुरुदरा वक्षरीरे भिन्ने यातो हृदयेन दूयता वनं मद आदेश करो जितं प्रभुं जिगाय तद्भक्त गुणे पराजितम्. यः पंचवर्ष गुरुदरा वाक्शरीरे भिन्ना यतो हृदयेन दूयता वनं मदादेशा करो जितं प्रभुं जिगाय तद्भक्त गुणे पराजितम्. Anybody else like to recite this verse, please?
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Let me try, please.
Please try.
Yo panchavarsha guru dwara baksharoe bhinnena yato hridayena duyata banam mad adesha karajitam prabhum jiyaya tadbhakta gunai parajitam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yah panchavarsha gurudara vakshareera vinnena yata hridayena duyata vanam madadesh karo ajitam prabhum jigaya tadbhakta gunai parajitam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Anyone else want to try? Okay, we will go into word-to-word translation. Yah, he who, Panchavarsha, at the age of 5 years, Gurudara of the wife of his father, Vaksharire, by the harsh words, Bhinnena, being very much aggrieved, Gyatah, went, Hridayena, because his heart, Duyata, very much pained, Vanam, to the forest, Mat Adesha, according to my instruction, Kara, acting, Jitam, unconquerable, Prabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Jigaya, he defeated, Tad, his, Bhakta of devotees, Gune, with qualities, Parajitam, conquered. Translation. The great sage Narad continued, just see how Dhruva Maharaj, aggrieved at the harsh words of his stepmother, went to the forest at the age of only 5 years, and under my direction underwent austerity. Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead is unconquerable, Dhruva Maharaj defeated him with the specific qualities possessed by the Lord's devotees. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Godhead is unconquerable. No one can conquer the Lord, but he voluntarily accepts subordination to the devotional qualities of his devotees. For example, Lord Krishna accepted subordination to the control of Mother Yashoda because she was a great devotee. The Lord likes to be under the control of his devotees. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that everyone comes before the Lord and offers him exalted prayers. But the Lord does not feel as pleased when offered such prayers as he does when a devotee out of pure love chastises him as a subordinate. The Lord forgets his exalted position and willingly submits to his pure devotee. Dhruva Maharaj conquered the Supreme Lord because at very tender age, only 5 years ago, he underwent all the austerities of devotional service. This devotional service was, of course, executed under the direction of a great sage, Narada. This is the first principle of devotional service. Adau Guru Ashrayam. In the beginning, one must accept a bona fide spiritual master. And if a devotee follows strictly the direction of the spiritual master, as Dhruva Maharaj followed the instruction of Narad Muni, then it is not difficult for him to achieve the favor of the Lord. The sum total of devotional qualities is development of unalloyed love for Krishna. This unalloyed love for Krishna can be achieved simply by hearing about Krishna. Lord Chaitanya accepted this principle that if one in any position submissively hears the transcendental message spoken by Krishna or about Krishna, then gradually he develops the quality of unalloyed love. And by that love, only he can conquer the unconquerable. The Mayavadi philosophers aspire to become one with the Supreme Lord, but a devotee surpasses that position. Not only a devotee becomes one in the quality with the Supreme Lord, but he sometimes becomes the father, mother, or master of the Lord. Arjuna also, by his devotional service, made Lord Krishna his chariot driver. He ordered the Lord, "Put my chariot here," and the Lord executed his order. These are some examples of how a devotee can acquire the exalted position of conquering the unconquerable.
Yeah.
Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurintam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamhiyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yata Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Jivam Sadhvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatrubhyacha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Vedvyaspriya Swami Iti Namane Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatari Satarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So today we will see a beautiful purport by Prabhupada in a very beautiful verse. You'll see how Supreme Personality of Lordhead is unconquerable. And who can conquer him? Prabhupada has already answered that, and we saw in the case of Dhruva Maharaj. So we'll first understand the greatness of the Lord. So he is unconquerable. He can't be conquered by anyone because he is Achyuta. Krishna never falls down. He is the source. He says in Bhagavad Gita 10.8, Aham sarvasya prabho mata sarvam pravartate. So he is the source. I am the source of all spiritual and material world. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So that's how great Krishna is. He's the source of the spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from him. And we can also understand the greatness of Supreme Lord by other two verses. It's a reference from Prabhupada's purport, where Prabhupada has quoted about the Moksha Dharma section of Mahabharata. The Patriarch, Shiva, and others are created by me, though they do not know that they are created by me, because they are deluded by my illusionary energy. Then another one, which is from Varaha Purana. Narayan is the supreme personality of Godhead, and from him Brahma was born, and from whom Shiva was born. So from this we can understand the supremacy of the Lord. He is unconquerable. So who can actually conquer him? And how? So that's what we will see in today's session. So he can only be conquered by his devotees. And in this verse, it's mentioned that Dhruva Maharaj conquered Krishna, and we'll see how he conquered Krishna. Prabhupada has mentioned that so many people have been trying to offer different prayers to Lord, but they only get pleased by his devotees. So in the case of Dhruva Maharaj, he underwent all the austerities of devotional service and under the direction of a great sages. And he could please it because he had special devotional qualities. And what are those qualities? So, see that. So those qualities, the first most quality was that when he went to the forest, Narad Muni came and he was testing his determination that, oh, you're only a 5-year-old boy, you can't do it, it will be too hard for you, you should go and just rest or just have fun, it is the time for you to play. But Narad, even after Narad Muni tested him with various ways, Dhruva Maharaj was very determined. So he was like, so when Narad Muni was testing that, is he ready to see the God? Only at the age of 5 years old. So he proved it that he was by saying that he didn't take it as impossible. Whatever has to be done, he was ready to do it with great determination. So that determination was a very great quality, determination to see the Lord. So because of his determination, he got the order and the mercy of Narad Muni, by which he could attain the love of Godhead. Second quality was that he was humble and sincere to follow the instruction of his spiritual master. Because nobody can follow instructions if we are not humble. So there needs to be some level of humility required to be able to accept someone as superior than us and take guidance from that person. So he was humble to follow the instruction of his spiritual master. Narad Muni said that he followed my instructions. So he is glorifying Dhruva Maharaj right now, that he followed my instruction, and that's out of his humility. The good quality that was his humility. So who is willing to take guidance? So even in the Bhakti, we saw that he was not pure at the start. He had material desires. He was quite ambitious, which is not very humble. But the fact that he, in spite of all of that, he surrendered to Narad Muni and his instructions, that was his humility. And his sincerity to follow that instruction. He didn't think that, oh, I can build my own way and I know everything. He didn't have that sort of thought process. So he was prahiyata, no one can stop him. He was determined that I must do it. So he took the instruction and determined to find the Lord Vishnu. And then he attained, but actually he attained it by the mercy of his Guru. And of course his endeavor, but the mercy of the Guru is very important. It's very vital part. So because the mercy of the Guru is the vital ingredient, because the Guru gives proper direction. And because Narad Muni gave him proper direction, by following it, Dhruva attained it. So after following, he realized that, oh, what a fool I was. I was desiring for a broken glass when I had diamond in front of me. Why did he thought like that? Because he got purified. So that's the difference. We may think that, oh, that those sort of austerity many people have done. Like Hiranyakashipu might have done those sort of austerities as well. But what was the difference here? The difference was that Dhruva Maharaj was practicing it under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. That was Narad Muni. And secondly, he approached directly the Supreme Lord. He was not approaching a demigod. That's the difference between approaching demigod and approaching the Lord himself. So when we go to demigod, they will, of course, fulfill our desires. But when we go to Krishna, he's like Father. He will only fulfill the desire that is good for us. So if a child, he wants to smoke, a father won't give, but somebody else may give outside the world. Because father looks, really cares for the child, so he will only give what's good. That's why he purified. So when we go to Krishna for even for material desires, ultimately we will get purified. So that's the benefit of approaching the Supreme Lord directly under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. So if we can develop sincere, unalloyed dedication to Guru, then Krishna becomes ours. And Prabhupada explained in the purport of Canto 4, Chapter 8, verse 42, that Dhruva Maharaj is an acharya. And by undergoing severe austerities and penances, he teaches us how one should execute devotional service. We should always remember that to become a bona fide devotee of the Lord is not an easy task. But in this age, by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, it has been made very easy. But if we do not follow even the liberal instruction of Lord Chaitanya, how can we expect to discharge our regular duties in devotional service? And then Prabhupada also suggests that it is not possible in this age to follow Dhruva Maharaj in his austerity, but we can follow the principle. The principle was to not disregard the regulative principle given by our spiritual master, but they make it easier for the conditioned soul. And then he further explains in that purport that it is our duty to remember always that in comparison to Dhruva Maharaj, we are very insignificant. We cannot do anything like what Dhruva Maharaj did for self-realization. And because we are absolutely incompetent to execute such service, but Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so merciful that he has given us concession at this age. So at least we should always remember that if we neglect our prescribed duties in devotional service, it will not make us successful. So it is our duty to follow in the footsteps of an acharya like Dhruva Maharaj, for he was very determined. We should also be determined to finish our duties in executing devotional service in this life. We should not wait for another life to finish our job. We don't know when is our last day, but we must be very serious and we must be determined. We can't keep it that we will do it tomorrow. Sometimes that tomorrow never comes. We must get serious at this very moment. And then we can see, as Prabhupada has explained, that austerities in this age, liberal instruction of Lord Chaitanya, what was that? So we all know already that the unalloyed love for Krishna can be achieved simply by hearing about Krishna, simply by chanting. And Prabhupada has given more instruction that has come to us in a parampara through our spiritual master, that observe 4 regulative principles, chant 16 rounds, accept prasada offered to the Lord, And these are very simple things to do, which we can do in this day and age. And that will please the Lord. If we are determined like Dhruv Maharaj, if we are humble and sincere to follow this instruction, then we can get the mercy of the Guru and we can then conquer Krishna. So we'll see one thing, that how one can get devotional service. Who can understand devotional service? So only devotees can understand. And one can only understand Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead by devotional service. And then when we practice devotional service, so only by practicing unalloyed devotional service with full faith in Krishna, one can obtain him. So that's quite important. But to follow that devotional service, we need the mercy of a spiritual master. So Prabhupada explains in another purport of Srimad Bhagavatam 8.6.12 that only by the practice of Bhakti Yoga, so why Bhakti Yoga is important, so one can achieve the favor of Supreme Personality of Godhead and see him face to face. One can not see him by other methods, such as karma, jnana, or yoga. And under the direction of spiritual master, one must cultivate Bhakti Yoga. So then even within this world, although the Lord is not visible, sorry, a devotee can see him. So that's why it is very important to follow the spiritual master and cultivate bhakti. And he further explains that one ordinarily does not begin to practice bhakti yoga unless he has practiced it in previous births. Moreover, one can begin bhakti yoga only by the mercy of the spiritual master and Krishna. Is Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. The seed of devotional service is obtainable by the mercy of the Guru, the spiritual master, and the Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we can see this in the case of Dhruva Maharaj. He got the seed of devotional service at the start when he started it, and that grew into a huge plant because of his practice and sincerity. So there's one explanation by Prabhupada, which is quite important, that a sincere disciple, simply by a bona fide spiritual master, can achieve all the mercy of the Lord and the spiritual master simultaneously. And we know this, we sing this almost every day. It is a prayer by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura instructs us in his famous prayer for the spiritual master. Yasya prasada bhagavat prasado yasya prasada nagati kutopi dhyayanstu vam tasya yashastri sandhyam vande guru shri charanam ravindam. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado yasya prasadan nagati kutopi. By the mercy of spiritual master, one receives the benediction of Krishna. Without the grace of the spiritual master, one cannot make any advancement. And then we'll see example of devotees in different rasas who conquered Krishna with their love and devotion. And Prabhupada has linked the examples of various devotees in his purport. You have seen the example of Yashodama, you have seen the example of Arjuna. So let's see one by one. For Madhurya Rasa, we have gopis. It's already on the screen. So how gopis conquered the heart of Krishna is through their love. So there are many famous stories, and it's quite known that gopis used to make Krishna dance for a cup of butter. And then there's one more story where gopis were ready to be even sent to hell to serve Krishna. So that was the love and devotion of the gopis that conquered the Lord. And then in Vatsalya Rasa, we see Mother Yashoda. There are many, many others as well. Just giving an example of Mother Yashoda. So she captured Krishna through her love and devotion. And every year we celebrate the Damodar Leela. It is quite popular. Damodar month is also coming soon. So we all know about Damodar Leela and the sweet pastime of Mother Yashoda with Krishna and their love and her love and devotion for Lord Krishna. In Sakya Rasa, it's Arjuna. For Arjuna, Prabhupada has mentioned in the purport that how Krishna became Arjuna's chariot driver. So, chariot driver, becoming someone's driver, is a very subordinate position. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is unconquerable, he accepted that position just out of love. There's a few more examples, like Sudama. When he visited the palace, Lord personally washed his feet. That's the greatness of Lord, how he get purchased by the love of his devotees. And then in Dasya, we have seen the example of, you may know the example of Jatayu in Ramayana. So with his service, he was in an animal body. With his limited capacity, he fought with Ravana just to do his best to protect Sita Mata. Lord was very, very satisfied that with his service, that he personally performed his final rites. So that's a reciprocation. It's a reciprocation between Lord and the devotees. When the devotee takes one step, Lord takes 10 steps towards you. So that's how compassionate he is. We only have to endeavor to go towards him with determination. And as Prabhupada has explained about Damodar Leela, of how Mother Yashoda conquered Lord, so we will see some lessons from Damodar Leela and understand those specific devotees' qualities, which is mentioned in the purport and the translation, that how Lord gets conquered with those devotional qualities. So Mother Yashoda churning yogurt early in the morning by herself, in spite of having so many maids. It's a story you all know that she used to wake up early in the morning, starts her service, and while doing the service, she's singing Krishna bhajan. So she is doing the service from mind, body, and words. So from mind, she's remembering Krishna. From body, she's churning the motor, and by words, she's singing. So we can learn from Yashoda Mai that for spiritual advancement, waking up early is very important. Also, she was immersed in love while doing the service of Krishna. The butter churning part explains her love and beauty. So one may ask that Yashoda Mai was an exalted devotee. She doesn't need to do the practices of sadhana bhakti, of waking up early. But that's the beauty of spirituality, that the process and the goal is same. You, even after becoming a great devotee, you continue the service as you would be doing in the sadhana practice. So for spiritual lesson number 1, for spiritual advancement, sadhana should be given priority, and she was immersed in love while doing service for Krishna. And then Then we'll see that, as mentioned, that while turning the butter or the yogurt, she was singing and meditating about the Lord. So similarly, we should also be dedicated and make an effort to chant. And when we make an effort to chant, then Krishna will appear. Because so first lesson from here is chant with dedication and make an effort. Because as bhakti process requires a level of endeavor, we cannot wait or think that, oh, when Krishna will call us, we will do. We will go to temple or we will do the service when Krishna desires. It is not on Krishna, it is our free will. We have to endeavor. And then Krishna was sleeping while early morning when she was churning the yogurt butter. He was sleeping, he heard nice sweet voice of Mother Yashoda singing the Lord's glory. So he woke up before time and appeared near Mother Yashoda. So what do we learn from this? So when Lord sees, the lesson is that when Lord sees us chanting and doing a sadhana regularly, then we will be able to experience Lord presence. So chanting in service mood and with attention, then we will be able to experience his presence. Because Krishna and Krishna's name is not different. Same. So if we chant with great mood and attention, then we can experience his Lord, his presence around us. And Prabhupada said that chanting should be like a genuine cry of a baby to call his mother. He gives an example of a fake crying of child. Many mothers can tell whether a child is just crying for the sake of attention, or it's a genuine cry. They are in need for something. Even attention is a need, but if they are just crying out of mischiefs, they're just being mischievous. So when mother says that, oh, my child is genuinely crying and he's hurt or he needs me, then the mother will run and go to the child. So there's one more story in this context of Prabhupada in a morning walk. There's a story of duck and a bread. So once Prabhupada was going on a morning walk with his disciples, and he was feeding ducks with breads, and he had limited bread in his hand. So one of his disciples asked, or devotee, he asked Prabhupada that there are so many ducks. Who are you going to feed with little amount that you have? So Prabhupada said that whoever quakes louder, I'm going to feed them. So this is similar to whoever is in desperation and need for Krishna, they will get mercy. That's quite important. And then we see as the story continues, we know that Mother Yashoda has put some milk for boiling in the morning to make a nice butter out of it for Krishna. And milk is also a personality in spiritual world. So it is not like the milk in this spiritual world. Milk itself have feelings and they are also serving Krishna. So when Yashoda Mai was feeding Krishna, then milk thought that, oh, my life is a waste as Krishna is not going to drink me. So what is the use to live? And so milk wanted to commit suicide by just coming out. So then Mother Yashoda could understand the feelings of the milk. So she quickly ran to help the milk and leaving Krishna's direct service. He was serving Krishna directly. So he left that and ran to save the milk. So here she gave more priority to a devotee than Krishna's direct service. So from this devotional quality, this is one of the devotional qualities that attracts Krishna, is that if a devotee is in distress or in trouble, and one has to choose to serve between a devotee or Krishna's direct service, then we should give priority to a devotee, just like in the case of Mother Yashoda, she gave priority to a devotee. So she had so much compassion that she ran to increase the enthusiasm of the milk to serve Krishna. That, oh, don't commit suicide, you will be given chance to serve. And that's the devotees' moods are, that's the devotional quality, that we want to encourage all the devotees around us to serve. We do not want to just take over all the service and let other person just stand or not do anything. It needs to come with lots of compassion, that we want to engage everybody. So from this we can learn that serving devotee is more important than Krishna's direct service. From the example of Mother Yashoda. And then the story continues. Krishna breaks the pot in anger that, oh, Mother Yashoda left me and went. And then Jiva Goswami says that yogurt was everywhere in the courtyard. And then Krishna ran away from the mother, found out, ran away. And then when he ran away, you'll see Mother Yashoda came. And she's like, oh, where is Krishna? And then she could see all the footsteps of Krishna that was covered in yogurt. So she found where Krishna was by following the footsteps of Krishna. So what do we learn from this? So Jiva Goswami says that one can take shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna to attain Krishna. So with this example, Mother Yashoda is showing that she took the shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna to attain him. So the lesson is, by taking shelter of pure devotee, we can find Krishna. And then when she took a stick and then started chasing Krishna, and Krishna was just running around. And Lord gets scared, oh, mother is coming with her stake. So he's chasing much faster than he could. He's running after her, and Mother Yashoda is chasing. So Krishna gets complete distress when Mother Yashoda runs. But then finally, Mother Yashoda could catch him. So in this example, we can see that Supreme Personality of Godhead is running, and Mother Yashoda may appear very ordinary compared to mystic yogis and many powerful people who do lots of austerities. But she could catch Lord. But so many yogis and others from different processes are trying to catch Lord. They are not able to. Then Prabhupada explains that many yogis couldn't approach it by various austerities and their yogic process, but still they are not able to even understand Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then what to speak of capturing him? And Mother Yashoda could capture him. Why? The only answer is because of her love. And we also understand from this that Lord takes pleasure in being defeated by his devotees. So it's not that Mother Yashoda was more powerful in running than Lord, but he took pleasure in being caught and being defeated by his devotees. And we also see in this purport that Lord Krishna accepted subordination to the control of Mother Yashoda because she was a great devotee. The Lord likes to be under the control of his devotees. So the lesson we learn from this, that Krishna can only be captured by love and devotion. And then the famous story we all know, that Mother Yashoda started tying Lord with around Ukhal. And whenever she was trying to tie Krishna, it was always 2-inch short. Then she has added lots of attachments to the rope, made rope bigger, but she couldn't tie him. It was always 2-inch short. So sometimes with no result or failure, we get disappointed or frustrated if it doesn't go as what we have planned. But the real enthusiasm that we can learn from this story is that whenever failure comes, but if we continue to make an effort, just like Yashoda might continue to make an effort in spite of numerous failures to tie Krishna, then we can be successful with Lord's mercy. And we also saw in the example of Dhruva Maharaj that he attracted Lord's mercy with his determination and endeavor. So we must not accept failure. We should continue to trying. We should not stop trying. There's another example of Prabhupada. He faced so many failures when he went to Jhansi, Vrindavan, Math, and to his god brothers. And his several attempts to go to foreign countries was of no success initially. And when he went to foreign country, there also, initially, he got no success. Like for every 3 months, he used to go to dockyard to ask when the ship is going back. And then he remembered his guru's instruction. And again, he used to endeavor with enthusiasm. So his guru's instruction was giving him enthusiasm. So in Bhakti, it is not possible that every time what we want will happen. Endeavor must continue, and Prabhupada showed this with his example. His enthusiasm continued by remembering his guru's instruction. He always remained enthusiastic and then continued his service. The lesson we learn from Yashoda Mai's endeavor and Prabhupada's prayers that we must have full faith and hope that Krishna will be merciful upon us. And he showed from his example, and Prabhupada said that we should never feel hopeless. We can feel helpless, but not hopeless. So when Krishna's mercy comes, then impossible tasks can also become possible with the mercy. And that's what happened in the case of Yashoda Mai's example, when it is impossible to tie the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but she could tie him with his mercy. The main purpose, lesson is the main purpose of all our endeavor in devotional service is to attract Lord's mercy. By endeavor and determination, we can attract mercy. So we must have full faith and hope in Krishna. And there's one last lesson, lesson 11, as the story anyway continues, that you saw that Krishna liberated Nalakuvara and Manigriva to fulfill the words of his pure devotee, Narad Muni. So similarly, Lord also gave benediction to Dhruva Maharaj in this verse to fulfill the instruction of Narad Muni, because his pure devotee gave an instruction that to Dhruva Maharaj that if you follow this process the way I instruct, then you will be able to see the Lord. The Lord fulfilled the words of his devotees and then gave mercy to Dhruva Maharaj. And of course, his endeavor and determination and his own endeavor was there, but he got the mercy of Narad Muni, his spiritual master. So we can also attain Krishna by following the instruction of Srila Prabhupada and our spiritual master. So this is the lesson we learn from this story. So in summary, we saw that specific qualities, what was the devotional qualities? So we saw so many devotional qualities of Yashoda Mai that attracted Krishna, the devotional qualities of Dhruva Maharaj also, that he was determined to find Krishna. He was humble, so his humility and sincerity to follow the instruction of a spiritual master was one of the key devotional quality that attracted the Lord. And a sincere disciple, simply by serving a bona fide spiritual master, can achieve all the mercy of the Lord. Thank you, Hare Krishna. If anyone has any questions or comments, please let me know.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Yeah, start from the beginning. The morning became very, very auspicious. Just such nicely sang the Jai Radha Madhava. And Prabhuji was playing the
Mridanga.
Mridang. Oh, it was nice atmosphere. You already made the situation in Vrindavan. That's the first start. And you have refreshed us
Thank you
to
for your
the
kind words,
ensuing,
Prabhuji.
to the ensuing Krishna Katha, which is going to be held from 10th of October. That is Damodar Lila. So you have already refreshed us to make such good points so that we can use this as a tool for our further process in our devotional service. You nicely explained with so much of examples that devotional service is not a simple thing, it's a very simple thing. Only you have to follow the instruction of the spiritual master. That's what, and by doing so, you don't need to be hopeless. You need to be helpless. By the example of Srila Prabhupada, you nicely explained. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, for your encouraging words. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, is any other devotees have any comments, realizations, or questions? If not, then we can thank you, Mataji, for the wonderful class. And we hope to
Hare
see you soon. So we will bring the class to a close. Vancha kalpa trupyascha kripa
Sindhu Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namo. Anantapudi Vaishnavrinda ki jai.
Thank you.
Vishnu